Stalingrad, Mother Russia, Mother Earth and Russia. Stalingrad. That's one of their songs.
Is it?
Stalingrad and Mother Russia, Mother Earth, Mother Russia, Stalingrad. Can you do it? Stalingrad and Mother Russia, Mother Earth, and Mother Russia, Stalingrad. That's it. He did it perfectly. Oh boy. This ruined it. Cut.
Dinner in Hell Band! Oh, god damn!
Oh, Dinner in Hell co-hosts. You.
Oh, they're on fire. They're fucking ripping and roaring up there.
Freaking audience is electrified.
Yeah, they look incredible today. Just a pack of super geniuses.
The look on their face when they actually see us in person and see what we look like, they match the voice up with the face. It's like funny to see that.
Yeah, disappointment never gets old. Welcome back for another exciting edition of the Dinner in Hell podcast, the show where two amateur historians talk about the atrocious underbelly of history. I am one of your co-hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, Ronald Maiden, Esquire.
Ronald? Where'd you get that from?
I'm trying.
Pulled that one out of. That was a surprise. He's never called me that, and I've never had that issue with him. It's always been Ronson or Ron. Oh my God. Today, I am glad to announce the topic of Stalingrad. Don't be mad, because, hey, of all wars, fronts, and battles, this one's considered bad.
Yeah. This is,
Ask your dad, and if he may react sad, because at one day, someone down the line, he lost a granddad in this Stalingrad.
and he'll just think back to all the great times they had.
Oh, yeah. Think of over the years.
Before he became an engineer and had to learn CAD.
Over the years, and you messed up my timing on my rhyme because I was starting to say it, and then you did your thing, and then now it's fucked up.
I'm sorry.
Show over.
I really didn't mean to mess you up a tad.
I wanted to rhyme fad, okay? I used to work with a guy named Thad.
Oh, well, now I feel really bad.
Okay, so welcome back to the Dinner in Hell program. I am Ronson McMaiden, Esquire. The real as opposed to the fake. I'm with Brad the Impaler, co-host, amateur historian. We're getting into some battling. How many battles have we discussed?
This is number 2.
Can I?
And Stalingrad now.
And Stalingrad. We've never... What about Rome 410? That was like a sacking.
Siege.
Yeah.
I mean, they've come in and out, but this is the second battle episode in total. And we're going fucking big because this is literally the biggest battle in the history of human beings in organized fashion attempting to kill one another. The biggest time that ever happened and the bloodiest.
So much blood. So much carnage.
Yes.
Bones left for years.
Yeah, this is a bad one.
You're like you're walking, you find a fossil. Oh my God, it's a fossil over there. You're like, oh my God, it's a femur. Oh my God, it's someone's jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Stalingrad.
And here is the last time that this lesson was learned. You can't invade Russia. You can't do it.
No.
Nope, you fucking cannot have a land war in Russia in winter. in case any of you out there ever in the future need for whatever reason to invade Russia, you're fucked. It's impossible. Napoleon learned it. Hitler learned it. You can't do it. So don't even try.
Lincoln learned it. Check your books. Check your history. You look at Lincoln. I'm not talking Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking Rodney.
Rodney Lincoln?
Yeah. Famous
Okay, I'm
invader.
caught up now. Yeah.
He's invaded so many different nations.
And the one that didn't go well, Russia.
That's right.
Now we're talking about Hitler. He was the commander on the other side. This battle took place during World War II, featuring several Axis powers against just on the Allied side, just the Soviet Union.
We're talking Netherlands. Talking nations involved. Poland, Italy, France.
Poland basically didn't really exist at this point.
No?
They were occupied by Nazi Germany.
I'll take it back.
Yeah, we're talking, I believe, well, we'll get to, they'll all come up in there. But we're talking casualties in this battle that number in the hundreds of thousands.
Wow. More than Little Bighorn?
Yeah, more than Little Big. I mean, 100,000 times as many as Little Bighorn, or something like that. 10,000 times as many casualties as Little Bighorn.
More lost than on the beaches of the movie Warriors?
Yeah.
At the end?
Yeah, we're talking. Warriors is like a gang of like 8 people.
Hockey sticks swinging around, chains, switchblades.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like carpet bombing here and machine guns, shit like tanks, shit like that.
Yeah. Well, they would. I'm gonna wait. Let this unfold. I wanted to bring up that movie, Enemy at the Gates, with a sniper.
Oh, that's a good one. Enemy at the Gates does depict the Battle of Stalingrad.
Can I get into it? No.
Sure.
Like when they're
Vasily Zaitsev is a real person.
He was Russian.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he was like a blessed shooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way the Russians were doing, like they were sending 2 soldiers out together with 1 gun and like 2 bullets, or just 1 gun, and they were like, 1 man gets the gun. When he dies, the second one picks up the gun. Like,
yeah, there was some stuff
and he didn't
like
get the
that.
gun.
Yeah,
because he was like this great shooter, and this other guy got the gun. It was like, ping, like, okay, got the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, there was stuff like that definitely happened on the Soviet side.
They didn't have enough guns, and they counted on half of them dying for sure. Basically, that's what I learned. Thanks, Hollywood.
Yeah, something like that. I think he had something like 255 confirmed kills during that battle. The real world Soviet hero Vasily Zaitsev.
Enemy at the Gates, folks. Ron Perlman's in it too, and he's like a fellow sniper. It helps him. It's good.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Jude Law is the main sniper, and Ed Harris is the German sniper.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, it's good. You should check it out.
Ed Harris is good too.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Oh yeah, you see. Look, never mind. I'm not gonna spoil it.
The other one, my grandfather was in Europe during World War II fighting for the United States Army.
You're always bragging, dude.
I'm not bragging. I didn't do that. He did. All I'm saying is, if you want a realistic portrait of what this type of combat would actually look like, according to him, the best one he saw was Saving Private Ryan.
Oh my God, when on the beach, when the boats open up and it just machine guns just spray the guys coming out.
Yeah, he said that's basically what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want a realistic portrayal of what this looks like, that's a good place to go for that.
I had a grandpa in World War II too. He had Purple Hearts and shit.
In Europe or the Pacific?
I think it was Europe. I don't know. Yeah. Good times.
I'm sure it was a blast.
Personal details. That was Dinner in Hell, Brad and Ron. Personal details.
Well, where Grandpa the Impaler was at was on the Western Front, where the Americans and the English and the French were fighting on the Western Front, where This battle, Stalingrad's taking place, is on the Eastern Front, and those two constitute a pretty vast difference from one another.
Okay.
The Western Front was relatively civilized. I mean, Germany thought that France and England sort of still, or at least England at some point, had a right to exist, sort of. They did not feel that way about the Slavic peoples of Eastern Europe and Russia. They were fine with eliminating all of them. So this was a war of
extermination,
utmost brutality. There weren't very many prisoners being taken on either side here.
Right.
When the Germans came in, I mean, you've heard about it. We're talking about the main German detachment here is the 6th Army. If you'll remember the last time we talked about the 6th Army, and I told you you'd eventually get to hear about their comeuppance.
Yeah.
This is it.
Okay.
They were at Baba Yar in the Ukraine, where they personally massacred 30,000 Ukrainian Jews. These are the German people that we're discussing during this episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So they did shit like that on their way through, and when the Soviet Union got to Germany, they did shit like that on their way back for revenge.
Brought to you by Quentin Tarantino, the ultimate revenge feature.
I would watch that film. Yeah. So, but we're talking about spring of 1942. The German plan was to defeat the USSR with one huge sweeping maneuver, the invasion being referred to as Operation Barbarossa. This wasn't going that well because, as we talked about off the top, you can't fucking fight a land war in Russia. It's impossible. There's just too much space. They can bog you down. They can retreat forever. There's a million reasons it can't be done. And it wasn't going well. But they wanted to keep pushing, and they especially wanted to take Stalingrad, the city of Stalingrad. This place was a big center of industry. We're talking in the south of Russia.
At this time, is the city called Stalingrad?
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to take it because it had Stalin's name stamped on it.
That's a added side benefit. That's a big propaganda victory you could sell to the folks back home.
Yeah.
And to take the city that bears the Man of Steel himself's name, that's, I mean, you basically won in like the morale battle at that point, hadn't you? If they were able to do that.
Do you remember when all those freaking like Native American people all like took over the city of Columbus, Ohio, just to like
what?
Christopher Columbus.
I wish.
This is what's happening. We're taking over Columbus.
I wish I
Fuck him.
I wish I lived in that world, Rano.
All the freaking Lakotas and shit up in the Dakotas, they come on down. We got bodies. We got numbers here. We're taking Columbus.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Paint this town in white man's blood.
I would watch that on television. I might stay away.
It's gonna be live
I'd watch
streamed
it on television.
Drone,
on
live
Twitch
stream
or something.
Drones, constant drone. You can switch to them. Drone 24. You guys see 24 right now. Go!
Oh, got
Holy
him.
shit! Got him scalping on TV. That was the mayor. Just kidding. We love you, Columbus, city of.
Except for a certain college campus, but we won't get into that.
Oh, is that where Ohio State is? Whatever. We're non-sports bias show, except for the fact that Brad loves Michael Jordan and he thinks Jordan's the number one basketball player ever.
Russell. We can't get into this
Michael
today.
Jordan.
I can't go down this road again. It's
Whatever.
clearly not.
Okay.
Call me when Jordan gets his 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th ring, and then we could have a conversation.
Do you think if Michael Jordan played in Bill Russell's area as Michael Jordan and on a different team against a team with Bill Russell, that Michael Jordan's team would lose?
Yeah, every time.
Why do you think that?
Because Bill Russell's the greatest basketball player of all time.
Stalingrad, bloodshed, sniping, movies, the Warriors, go.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the city. What about what the Germans planned to do with the citizens of Stalingrad once they had taken it? I'll tell you, because it's fucking biblical. They planned to kill literally every man in the city, because its inhabitants, according to them, had been hopelessly ideologically lost to communism. And they were going to deport all the women and children.
So the town would be empty?
Yeah, I assume by deport, they mean also kill. Yeah, they were taking all of this territory, and
That's your assumption.
East was going to be. Yeah, that's I said.
Dinner in hell assumption.
You might even want to restrict that to a Brad the Impaler assumption. I don't know.
Well, we're a team here. So I support you.
When the Nazis talked about deporting people, it usually didn't really mean deport.
We're going to deport you to death.
Yeah, so that's what they were planning to do. Because of this, in response to the threat, Stalin issued some pretty harsh orders. Nobody was allowed to leave, and everybody was in the army now.
Yep.
Yeah, so the women and children were put to work digging trenches, building defensive structures, shit like that. That was what they got to do. Although there were quite a few women soldiers, like actual infantry trained women, and there's lots of Soviet women fought in World War II for sure.
And a lot of people out there are familiar with Aerosmith's Janie's Got a Gun. Janie's got a gun. That's about these women that were forced to fight for their city. Basically what Janie's Got a Gun is all wraps up in a nutshell in a 3-minute rock song. It's these women.
Yeah, well, I can think of a folk song about a woman Soviet sniper sung by a Mr. Woody Guthrie called Miss Pavlichenko.
Miss Pavlichenko. Dun, 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 dun. Miss.
The chorus, and I have to admit this might be a little controversial, is up go your sights, down goes a Hun, 300 Nazis killed by your gun.
A Hun?
Killed by your gun.
Wait,
killed
down
by
goes a
your
Hun?
gun. Yeah, that's what they called the Nazis.
What was controversial? The Hun?
Yeah,
I thought that she was like killing Huns, like Attila and the Huns. Like
that's what they called the German soldiers.
Because the Hungarian area or something.
No, I think it was like they're savages, like the Huns.
Huns, yeah. God damn it.
Ludmila Pavlichenko, 300 Nazis.
Look at you, man. You're so fucking well-rounded.
Badass.
Yeah. Those folk songs, you guys.
Woody Guthrie's awesome.
He knows Woody. He knows Kendrick. He knows everything. He knows freaking Shania. He's amazing.
I'm most familiar with her work acting in fucking I Heart Huckabees.
Oh, man. This makes me want to go on a pontoon.
It wasn't all Germans, though, like we said earlier. Guarding the left flank of the Sixth Army were Italian, Hungarian, and Romanian units. And on their right flank, on the south, were Croatian units. Yeah, so if you weren't sure if all of those were Axis powers, they are.
Wow.
By July of 1942, the Germans had crossed the River Don. Although, crucially, they left most of their supplies on the western bank of the river, which is going to come into play in a little while. And they're preparing to move into the metropolitan Stalingrad area by that point. Before the Germans ever even set foot in Stalingrad, the Soviets put together 2 rushed, kind of clumsy attacks north of the city. Mm-hmm. And this is gonna show you the kind of scale that we're dealing with here, because this is really before the battle starts. And in these 2 attacks, they did a lot of damage to the German army, but the Soviet army had 200,000 casualties basically before the battle starts.
Dude, if they would have just held off, they would have had that much more soldiers. They wouldn't have did those 2.
Actually, some historians think that these two attacks, in delaying the German advance, actually won the Soviets. Spoiler alert, the Soviet Union wins this battle.
Oh.
Yeah, they think this was actually wound up being a pretty big factor in that.
I really was kind of hoping for a surprise. Yeah.
I mean, it I don't know. But the Nazis lose World War II. Spoiler alert.
You know, this whole episode's ruined.
Well, I'll trudge on through. I'll try my best.
You got a lot of work to do. You got work's cut out for you. That's what it is.
Now, as things always go with the Blitzkrieg, the first thing out of the gate is a thorough pounding by the Luftwaffe.
What is that?
Why are you laughing?
What is the Luftwaffe?
The Nazi Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
They bombed the shit out of the Volga River, the river itself. They literally dropped so many bombs on it that they fucked up the terrain of the earth so much that they couldn't use boats on it anymore.
Oh, like
to halt Soviet shipping in the region.
So the river got too shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Man, that's smart.
It's a lot of fucking
strategic
destruction on the earth.
Yeah.
When they did get to bombing the city itself, they actually got bombed in a higher concentration than London during their famous the Blitz, the air attack on London.
Yeah.
Stalingrad actually had more bombs dropped on it. I mean, 1,000 tons of bombs during the first 48 hours.
Wow. I play a video game in my free time. Call of Duty World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. It's like everything you're saying right now is like in it. Like London destroyed, you like running around shooting freaking Germans. Yeah. Hit me up if you want to get them. If you want to party up. Maiden.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned the propaganda value of Stalingrad earlier. Stalin wasn't blind to that either. 400,000 civilians are present in the city that were not evacuated when the attack began. One factory even kept producing T-34 tanks until literally the German army burst through the doors of the factory.
Damn.
Yeah, at which point the heroic Soviet workers literally just hopped off the assembly line with their wrenches and attacked the German army right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome freaking film to shoot. That scene.
Dude, Soviet cinema's awesome. If you ever want to watch some really interesting foreign films, there's Soviet cinema's very underrated.
No,
very
thanks.
Underrated.
I'll take them. I'm good.
You want to know what's really interesting about Soviets? Real quick, just a quick dinner in hell diversion.
Okay.
Fucking.
It's topical.
You know how in American cinema until 2000, when the Arab terrorists took over, it was always the Soviet Union was the bad guy of American movies.
Yeah.
America is never the bad guy in Soviet movies, ever.
Huh.
The most popular Soviet film ever released was about their greatest heroic achievement, which is World War II. And the movie literally ends with the American and Soviet soldiers meeting and hugging in Berlin.
Aw. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, they're trying to be nice.
It didn't go the other way. I assume some evil American capitalist would be the villain of every Soviet film, and it's not like that at all.
Huh. Thanks, Brad. I'm only saying that because I know we got a freaking list.
Yeah. I mean, all available Soviet troops at this point had been pulled to the east bank of the Volga outside the city of Stalingrad. I mean, he was going to defend this motherfucker. He was willing to throw lots of resources at it. I mean, some troops were pulled from as far as Siberia, north to south, all the way.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Russia's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, some troops were even from Siberia coming to fight in this.
They were like, hell yeah, we'll take a little freaking sunshine for once.
And trying to get in.
Southern Russia.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, till you see shadows. Big, scary shadows when you're trying to cross the Volga on barges. I think this was an enemy at the gates, too. When they were trying to cross the river to get into the city and the Air Force was sniping them out of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely happening.
That was awful.
That would be... I mean, when you think of a ferry ride, you generally don't... Your mind doesn't jump to terror.
Yeah.
You think it's, you're just kind of bopping along, enjoying the breeze. This one wasn't like that. I mean,
sitting ducks.
Yeah, you know how frustrated you and I get in traffic? Imagine how frustrated you'd be getting with how slow the barge is when there's like fighter planes buzzing around trying to kill you.
Yeah. I think you just invented a new word, Brad. I think you said kill you.
That's like a super killing. It's a cross between murdering and killing.
Yeah,
it's like in the Demolition Man, murder, death, kill, or whatever they call it. Yeah,
I get it. I see you have a lot of Demolition Man influence in your broadcasting skills.
Thank you. I'm finally somebody fucking notices.
Yeah, I see little bits of it showing through over time.
Well, you'd also see little bits of sunshine shining through the ruins of the city after the Luftwaffe got through with it.
You see little bits of Russians in the river water after the German Air Force dive bombed them.
Yeah.
Not funny. I don't know why you think that's funny.
I wasn't laughing.
I'm just kidding.
Well, after the first 3 days of air raids on Stalingrad, firestorms broke out, and up to 90% of the livable areas in most residential neighborhoods were completely destroyed.
That's just mean.
Yeah, 3 days, hundreds of civilians dead, thousands injured. After that, we don't know because they stopped bothering to record or report how many civilians were hurt in air raids after that.
Because it gave them like, oh man, we got 86 civilians. Yeah, keep it up.
I just think they probably didn't have the time.
Oh, I thought they were like, we don't want them to know what they're achieving.
I think they probably just kept it to critical tasks. Like, you could count dead bodies or you could keep digging that trench. Which one sounds more important to you when the Nazis are on the next block?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Everybody, like I was saying, everybody got pulled in. If you weren't digging trenches or building tanks or fighting already, the NKVD, which I mean is the predecessor to the KGB, a rough equivalent to the CIA, they would round up civilians and form militias. So they'd be like, they just grab the first 20 people and be like, all right, you're the militia unit B6. You go attack at this street and this street. By the way, we don't have any weapons, so just have like your fists. Go give them hell.
Go give them hell.
Yeah.
Here, take this bottle of whiskey, put a rag in it, light it. It's called a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to hurl that thing straight right at them. Take as many as you can.
Get some heavy rocks.
Bare fist. Godspeed. Hope you live.
Yeah. But when you think about it, what else are you supposed to do?
Grab a wrench like the tank mechanics.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If I'm going to die either way, I'm going down fighting.
I have a bow and arrow or a spear.
Shit, there was one.
Just run down the street with a spear. They're like, shoot you.
Like 800 yards away.
Yeah. Let's see how close we can get them before we shoot.
Like, I'll try to do it behind my back.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Fucking one group of students from a technical university inside Stalingrad, like just a bunch of like engineering students, snuck around to an abandoned tank factory, and they just would spend all day in there like getting random parts and putting them together, making their own tanks out of spare parts. Dun, 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 dun. Fucking great show.
What's the tagline? I love it when a plan comes together.
Hannibal.
The fucking cigar.
Yeah, chomping on it.
That'll do it. Does he say that? He opens up like he's like a swamp monster. He opens up the door on his face and goes like, "That'll do it," or he says something right?
Like that.
He doesn't say "love it when a plan comes together." That's like it says it every episode.
Yeah, but it's like been 15 years since I've seen an episode of the A-Team.
That'll work or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Tweet us with it.
Hannibal, not the doctor.
Yeah, the thing about these tanks, though, is like they weren't painted. So like they would literally just drive them straight out the front door of the factory and start like going to the front.
Yeah.
Random like Franken tank rolling down the street coming to fight you.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is they also didn't know how to sight the weapons. So the only way they could aim these tanks is literally like stick their head in there and look down the gun barrel. And then if they could see a German tank or something they wanted to fire the gun at, then they would just get their head out, put the shell in, and fire it. They didn't have sights.
That's great.
The only way it actually was reliable was kind of at point blank range. So it was these crazy kids were building tanks out of spare shit and basically operating them like kamikazes.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's some badass. I hope I'd have the courage to pull some shit like that.
We gotta do Dinner and Hell Movie Films Productions brings you a Russian tank factory story you'll never forget. First, it opens with the workers attacking after they break in, and then it shows like the sons of the workers like going, "Wait, my dad left all the instructions right here. We can build it ourselves." And they do it. It's like Red Dawn but Russian. They'll all speak English even though they're Russian.
Yeah.
Hey, get over here.
You could do the thing like in, what was it? Was it The Hunt for Red October where in the beginning they're all speaking German or Russian, but then once it zooms in and like zooms out, then they just switch to English for the movie? Or was that Das Boot? I can't remember. One of the submarine films.
Well, I think they're doing English when they're taking over that town in Red Dawn. I think they talk English, but they're Russian.
Yeah, it's like they like start off where like they give it to you where you hear like it's got to be The Hunt for Red October because you hear Sean Connery doing like a really shitty Russian accent or something.
Enemy at the Gates. Everyone's speaking English, but it's German and Russians.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's fine. Like sometimes I don't feel like reading it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can handle subtitles.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they pushed into the city, the Germans and the Croatians, which were the only other nationality who fought in the city for the Axis, everyone else stayed out back. They fought hard. They had to because of Stalin's famous Order 227, which stated that any officer in the Russian military who let an unauthorized retreat occur would face a military tribunal.
Which means?
You're not allowed to go backwards unless it's in the plans to at some point go backwards.
Yeah, that's in Enemy at the Gates too.
Yeah.
Anyone heading back gets shot by their own men.
Yeah, during this battle, 14,000 people were executed by Soviet officers enforcing this order.
Wow.
Yeah, but the weird thing is when they asked veterans of this battle what they thought about that order years afterwards, most of them say that when they heard it, they felt relieved. Because there was really no question anymore. They knew exactly what was expected of them and they knew what they had to do. And they said they felt better after they were told that there would be no retreat under any circumstances. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
I kind of get it, though. I kind of get it.
You kind of?
Yeah, I kind of do get it. Like, I would maybe feel relieved myself. If it's like, once you could kind of like let the wheels go off and be like, fuck it, let's fucking ride, bitches. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you know it's to the last man. Like I could see kind of be like, all right, let's light this fucking candle, let's party, let's kill as many of these motherfuckers as we can.
How long do you think you'd live just freeballing it? Like,
I'd probably have a better chance than if I was trying to be careful.
Yeah. doing like 360 spins off of shit.
No scope. 360
Yeah.
no scope, bitch.
Jump, dive down, shoot him.
Yeah, and in reality, I would be way better off from cover with like a bunker.
In reality, like it cuts to you and you're behind like a crate, and then you finally peek your head up, your head's blown off
instantly.
Helmet falls.
2 seconds in the battle. It just tears straight through whatever the hell helmet I have on.
Yeah. Decorates the wall behind you.
No one was even trying to. It was a ricochet in the first place.
Way to go. Oh, what a career.
Worst career ever.
Oh, your legacy.
Yeah. So early September, they're in the city. This is close quarters, nasty fucking fighting now. Think about like not the D-Day scene from Saving Private Ryan, but the end.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
when there's like guys knifing each other's in hallways and shit like that. That's what's going down here.
I thought you were going to bring up the Warriors beach scene, how it was close quarters.
I don't think it's quite as good an analogy.
No, he's the one. Warriors did it.
One joke that the Nazi fighters would tell while they were talking about this battle is they would joke about, yeah, we've taken the kitchen, but there's still some fighting we need to do to get the living room and the bathroom.
Really? That's Nazi humor there.
Yeah, it's some Nazi humor for you.
They sucked at all kinds of shit, even humor.
Yeah, but it's not that much of an exaggeration. They had to fight for every room, every floor of every building because there were civilians who were basically fighting like guerrillas everywhere. There were 400,000 people, not army people, in the city when their invasion starts.
Damn.
So, I mean, you'll find stories, 15 people hiding out in a attic here, throwing down, setting fires and shit at night. 20 people are parked out in this parking like basement thing, and they can't find them, but they're sniping soldiers during the day. It's going on all over the place. It is just a hell world.
That sounds, when I say amazing, I mean like just like not just like it sounds amazing, like on the level of like overwhelming, I guess. Like not like
it also
not like wonderful.
Yeah, not like
like it's just
I know
like whoa.
It makes me realize that I have such a fucking like pampered little baby existence.
Yeah, you got turn signal torture, do you?
Yeah.
Someone didn't use their blinker for you.
Yes, those are the kinds of things that make me angry.
Freaking Unit 731 dropping fleas full of bubonic plague on villages. When no one used their blinker, you didn't get a blinker. You're stuck waiting for 2 seconds longer. Piece of shit. Fuck. We're so pathetic. Hey, but the world is nicer, right? Yeah, we've learned that.
That's why this is a hopeful, uplifting program.
Our show has like a light at the end of the episode.
Things were not going well off the bat for the Soviets, though. I mean, one unit lost 30% of its manpower in 2 days. At the end of the battle, only 320 soldiers out of the original 10,000 in the unit were still there.
Wow.
Yeah. It may seem like the Soviet Union was throwing lives away for no reason, unnecessarily. But this might be a misrepresentation of their intent. Because the Soviet army, in another case, did send an entire platoon, took a 4-story building. I mean, talk about fighting for every hallway. Clearing a 4-story building is going to be a tough battle, just to free 10 Soviet civilians who were trapped in the basement of that building.
Oh, okay. I'm like you can't like kick in doors, like can't shoot through doors with machine guns. Like we're talking little wooden doors in these buildings, right? Like bank vaults.
Yeah, but the thing is you don't know if around every corner, behind every door, is the next guy with a gun waiting to kill you.
Grenade on a tripwire.
Yeah, you gotta go slow. Urban combat's no shit, man. That is some rough stuff.
Clear.
Like stacking up on the door, all that shit.
Yeah.
Flashbangs and smoke and gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the civilians that they saved were holed up in that basement for 2 straight months with no supplied. They were not being given supplies by anyone. They were just scavenging and getting by, conducting guerrilla attacks for 2 months. That's some hard-ass civilian shit right there. You know, in a lot of cases, I mean, just like Americans or British or French or anybody fought because they were forced to. Same goes for the Soviet Union for sure. But it was also motivated by patriotism and hatred for the enemy and a very sincere desire to defend their city. I was like, I might not be the most, I'm not patriotic, but I do feel a very strong affinity to my city.
Right. I think
I mean Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel part of Detroit. I don't necessarily feel part of the United States.
I feel more of like North America than I do United States or Detroit.
It's like
I'm like this part of the round globe.
I feel like
Not that part.
Culturally, I feel like I can relate to people who are around here because of that. And I also feel connected to the nature here.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'd always want to be close to water. I'd always want to be by, like pine trees and regular deciduous trees. Like, if there were no pine trees where I lived, I think that would bother me.
There's pine trees in warm places. Good news. You can have pine trees in warm places. They're not the same, but yeah, they exist. Conifers in the south.
Yeah, there's something. You know what I mean. I need to see a nice. Yeah.
I just have a instinct to argue. That's all.
You sure do, don't you?
Even if it's something I'm for. No, it's not good. Even though I really like it secretly.
I gotta play devil's advocate.
Yeah. Can't just be freaking easy.
Snipers played a very prominent role in the Battle of Stalingrad. And just like you see in that flick, The Enemy at the Gates movie, it was like that in real life. Snipers were a big deal then too, and everybody hated them. Because, you'd just be like scratching your nose and just get put down out of nowhere before the sound of the bullet even gets there. That's not a good feeling way to get shot, I imagine.
Well, it'd probably be a desired way on Dinner in Hell's show to be smoked in the dome from a mile away than to have your skin burnt off you from like a bomb Molotov cocktail thrown at you.
Yeah, it's better than fire. Yeah, it's probably better than burning to death.
Half your body blown off or something.
That might be quick, though.
Sniped in the head.
Sniped in the head. You don't even know it's coming would be ideal. But what if they hit you in the gut?
The pain. You feel pain. Sniped in the head, no pain.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that gets my vote.
We spoke of the role in the Soviet Union that women played, too, in the battle. Well, I've got a quote from General Zhukov, who might be the best general in the entire World War II. Definitely the best Soviet general. But he says, remembering the defense of Stalingrad, I can't overlook the very important question about the role of women in the war, in the rear, but also in the front. Equally with men, they bore all the burdens of combat life, and together with us men, they went all the way to Berlin.
Nice.
It's like, at least, like, yeah, this is not a bad day to be a woman in Dinner in Hell. You get treated equally today by the Soviet Union.
It's one of those rare Dinner in Hell nice moments for women.
And they're clearly appreciated for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about songs. Like
folk songs.
Ludmila Pavlichenko was a celebrity for her quality of Nazi killing. So not only do our women treated equally, boom, they also get appreciated for it. It's awesome.
I'm pretty sure Gordon Lightfoot had sang a Mila Pavlichenko song as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to look into that.
Those classics. Well, it's classic Lightfoot cuts.
The women in this battle, they served as machine gunners, pilots, anti-aircraft gunners, infantry, nurses, scouts, snipers, mortar operators. You fucking name it. They were doing it. When they finally did capture the city on the 20th of November, the Sixth Army had lost 60,000 men.
Wow.
Yeah. November 19th, 1942, the Soviets begin their counteroffensive. The Axis allies were dog shit. The Romans and the Hungarians and stuff, they were nothing like the Wehrmacht.
Yeah.
And the Wehrmacht was an incredible fighting force. Incredible. They're absolutely brutally effective. The Romanian army, not so much.
What happened to the Croatians?
They're in the city. Well, some of them are on the right flank too. They'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
So during this Soviet offensive, that's where they attacked the flanks. The Romanians even knew it was coming. They could be like, "Hey guys, we hear like lots of machinery like over that ridge that way," and they're like, "You don't need any reinforcements. You're fine. Just stay there. Everything's fine. We're not going to reinforce you." Like, guys, pretty sure something's going to happen real soon. Like, look. Everything's okay. Don't worry.
Just relax.
Like, don't you hear all those tanks coming? They're like, "Look, we know it's been rough for you, but just hang out here. Everything will be fine."
I'll give you 5 cases full of vodka.
They were far away from their home countries. They were not getting supplies. And the Soviet attack very quickly overran the Romanian position and was able to begin attacking targets behind the German lines in the rear. Important shit, supply line shit. They were just wreaking havoc behind them. And the next day, the Soviets launched basically a mirror image of that offensive on the southern flank against the Croatians that were fighting there, who crumbled in a similar manner.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about the holy grail of military maneuvers, the double envelopment.
Let's do this.
The Nazis are surrounded.
Like, can I?
Right? Mm-hmm. If you're, that's why it's the holy grail of military maneuvers, because once you do it, you then just slowly kill everyone that's inside of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you came here for the hashtag double envelopment, like you did Battle Canai,
well, here's your payoff.
Good news.
There's the money shot right there.
What does that mean?
That's at the end of a pornography.
Good Lord.
Wow.
My grandmother listens to this program. She enjoys it. She used to.
Well, now I may have just turned her on to some other cool shit that she can look up on the internet.
She's gonna hit unsubscribe.
I'm sorry, Grandma Maiden.
I'm just kidding. I don't have grandmas. I never had a cat either. Did I say earlier in the show that I killed the cat? Oh, was that a joke off mic?
It was
off air.
It may have been off air. There was a joke bandied about cat killing. I think it was about dosing somebody with
my mother sprinkling crack
something.
on my as a gag.
Yeah, I think that was that was before the crowd came in here.
Yeah.
So we're talking 265,000 Axis troops surrounded within the city of Stalingrad. That's a lot of people. The thing is Hitler had stated publicly, now that we've taken like the great enemy's city, the German army will never leave Stalingrad. So one thing that you can do if you're encircled is break out, which means you take all your people and your enemies spread out because he's on every side of you. You just pick a spot and everybody attacks there. And then once you break through the lines there, you can escape and then you're not surrounded anymore.
Yeah.
In modern warfare, that's especially easy to do because you have like mobile infantry, mechanized units. You got trucks and tanks and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just move at 40 miles an hour. It's not like you got to walk on foot and break through. You're blazing, hauling ass down a freeway when you're
blasting
attacking.
through.
Yeah. But because Hitler had publicly said nobody's ever going to leave that city, they were ordered under no circumstances to even attempt to break the encirclement. They weren't allowed to try to leave.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nice move.
Yeah. So they were originally resupplying them by air, but if you can imagine, once the Soviets have the threat neutralized, they're going to start to they're not just going to stay there. They started taking back all the airfields that were close. So pretty soon they weren't getting any supplies from the Air Force anymore. Now, which of course I'm thinking right off the bat, they're running out of food, which is absolutely true. Perhaps more importantly for their fighting situation, they're running out of gas.
Probably ammo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, very quickly, even if they wanted to try to defy their superiors' orders and break the encirclement, now they can't because they don't have enough gas.
Yeah.
So they'd have to do it on foot.
Yeah.
Which ain't going to happen.
Like freaking 400 Gaul soldiers fighting in Kenai. Wearing minimal armor.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, is they kept fighting, and harsh fighting through the winter in a place where there's no heat unless you set a fire because the city is completely destroyed.
Yeah.
In Russia, where it's cold.
And if there's a fire, you can see smoke, so I hope no one investigates why that smoke's there.
Mm-hmm. They did send a rescue mission, the Germans did, though. They did at least attempt to send somebody else to break the encirclement. They got pretty close, too. They made it to within 50 kilometers of Stalingrad.
And then what?
They were repelled.
Oh.
Because the other thing about the winter is if it's not frozen, it's mud in Russia.
Yeah.
So moving is very difficult. And if it's winter, you're not that much better because you can't resupply anything from around you. You can't get any food, no fucking water. You had to like melt in snow and shit. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the Soviets offered them what is, in my thinking, pretty gracious terms for a surrender because they didn't want to spend all their resources surrounding. They wanted the fucking city back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to lose all their soldiers fighting pointless shit. So they offered them a choice. They said 24 hours, you can surrender, and we will guarantee your safety. We'll guarantee you regular rations. You can keep all of your personal belongings that you have with you. And as soon as the war is over, we'll send you to the country of your choice. Repatriation to whatever country you'd like after the war was over. They would not accept that, though, because Hitler would not allow them to surrender. He did ask for permission, though. He said, "Can I please surrender to save the lives of my men?" And the response to that was to promote the German commander to a field marshal, because no German field marshal had ever surrendered before.
Mm-hmm.
So he was saying, no, you can't. And now if you do, you'll be the first field marshal to ever do that, and you'll bring an unbearable amount of shame on yourself and your country.
What a dick.
Yep. I mean, pretty controversial opinion that Hitler was a dick, but I do agree with you.
You didn't side with me on that one, finally?
What a prick, motherfucker.
Man, constant arguing about Hitler off mic. You should sit down with Brad one day.
Yeah,
He's a
well,
big Hitler guy.
oh, God damn it, dude. You can't say that shit. Fuck Hitler, just to be
I'm not talking
perfectly
Adolf.
clear.
Talking Bobby.
Body Hitler?
Yeah.
Fuck
Second
him, dude.
baseman for the Pirates. Fucking back in the day. Shit. Man, you guys are 2 peas in a pod. Best friends. Former pro.
Well, what Hitler hoped when he issued that order, prick that he was that they would either fight to the last man or he would commit suicide and he just wouldn't have to deal with his ass anymore.
I should go suicide by Russian army. Run. Ah!
Well, he didn't even have the time to do that because their command post was actually taken by surprise by the Soviets.
Strip nude.
It's just like they're sitting there having a meeting and boom, the Soviets kick open the door and grabbed them before they even knew what happened.
This guy's about to strip nude in an ambush, run out at the army, but the army catches him indoors like, I'm naked for nothing. I was going to put on a show. I was going to go streak the army. I was going to streak the front.
That's all I wanted to do.
Hashtag Western Front, Eastern Front streaking.
Yeah, once they got that command post, the rest of the troops, they just sort of crumbled like dominoes. They're starving people. They're not going to put up much of a fight, you know. For the most part, that's what happened. That was on February 2nd of 1943. So we're talking like, what is it? September, October, November, December, January. Basically, the battle's 5 months long.
I thought you were going Groundhog Day route, February 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking September, October, November, December, January. This battle is basically like 5 months long, right?
Yeah, it seems like the way the story's unfolding, it seems like it's over a longer span of time because you're talking about like Germans that are occupied in that city and like people starving and stuff. I feel like there'd be enough food already for 5 months. No, I mean, could you live on what you have in your house right now for 5 months? You think? Could you stretch
man.
it out?
Like September, October, November, December, January. This battle was like 5 months long, man.
Did you ever have deja vu? I can check out the kitchen. I get it. I see what you're doing, Impaler. Constant pranks. He's Groundhog Day-ing me, you guys. He's Ned Ryerson in disguise. Fucker.
Well, we said there were 265,000 Axis troops within the city. After the Soviets moved in, there were 91,000 left to be captured as prisoners. Okay. So that's like 150,000 dead Germans inside of a city. Think of your city, your largest city that you live near, and then imagine, let's say at this point, 600,000 dead bodies in it.
Let's say you live...
What the hell the fuck do you do with all that shit? There must be just absolute... When the Soviets came back in here, it was absolute carnage. It was just a bloodbath. There was like... Oh, fuck, dude. Like, listen to this. So there's an NKVD report, like their CIA report that described finding one of the, like, moving in through the formerly German-occupied Stalingrad. In the porch lay the skeleton of a horse with only a few scraps of meat still clinging to its ribs. Then we came into the yard. Here lay more horses' skeletons, and to the right there was an enormous, horrible cesspool. Fortunately, frozen solid. And then, suddenly, at the far end of the yard, I caught sight of a human figure. He had been crouching over another cesspool, and now, noticing us, he was hastily pulling up his pants, and then he slunk away into the door of a basement. But as he passed, I caught a glimpse of the wretch's face, with a mixture of suffering and idiot-like incomprehension. For a moment, I wished that the whole of Germany were there to see it. The man was probably already dying. In that basement, there were still 200 Germans dying of hunger and frostbite. We haven't had time to deal with them yet, one of the Russians said. They'll be taken away tomorrow, I suppose. And at the far end of the yard, besides the other cesspool, behind a low stone wall, the yellow corpses of skinny Germans were piled up. Men who had died in that basement, about a dozen wax-like dummies. We did not go into the basement itself. What was the use? There was nothing we could do for them.
Oh my God. Just imagining it's like, I just imagine like almost like, what is the little man in Lord of the Rings?
Gollum?
Yeah. Like scurrying.
200 golems in the basement dying.
He just shit in a shit puddle. Now he's running back in. They're like, one rule we have here in the basement, never have food and never shit in the basement. Yeah. Outside.
And think of how
starvers
much,
down here.
Think of what the Germans just did to these people, right?
Yeah.
And they're so fucking like wretched and like disgusting and dying and frostbitten and horrible off that they don't even bother to kill them. They just, or take them prisoner or anything. They just leave them there.
Yeah.
That says something to me. I don't know what, but it's something.
Take us back to episode 1, Scaphism. We put them in the boat and they just leave them in the sun.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't
from town.
They didn't set any of this up. They were just like, whoa, shit.
Let that work itself out.
This is already done.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do here.
Save our energy.
Yeah, just they like the slow, like where they put their hands up and take a couple of steps backwards. That's what they did.
Yeah, there's a spill at your job and you're like, I didn't see it yet. Someone else better see it and get it.
Yeah, you want to know why this is a true comeuppance for the 6th Army that committed all those horrible fucking atrocities? 265,000 get surrounded in Stalingrad. What do you think is the total number of them that eventually made it back to Germany after the end of World War II?
206.
5,000.
Wow.
That's it.
That's
the entire army was destroyed, and good riddance.
That's like a eighth of our listener base.
I mean, ultimately, in this battle, an eighth of our listener base.
I'm looking at you, and you're like, he's got his nose in his notes. He's like, I don't even hear you.
Yeah, I did. I heard it, and I was thinking about it.
That'd be 8 times 5 is 40,000. We got 40,000 listeners. Close.
If everyone who ever listened only did it one time.
We're on the cusp of 40,000, you guys. Oh, boy.
Well, ultimately, and I think this is closer to our real listener base, the Axis in the course of this battle would suffer 868,374 casualties, and the Soviet Union would suffer 1,129,619 casualties.
Man. Lots of lives.
Yeah.
Bloodshed.
Like you alluded to or foreshadowed about earlier.
Whoa.
There were so many fucking dead bodies in Stalingrad that were, I mean, we're talking winter, not easy to dig. So when people died, they just kind of stacked them up around because that's all you can do. You don't have a choice. It's not like you can call the hearse to come pick them up or some shit.
Yeah.
There are still places around Stalin. Well, now the city is called Volgograd. It's not Stalingrad anymore.
We don't speak his name around here.
If you go there, you can. Well, people in Russia generally have a favorable opinion of Joseph Stalin. They don't think he was bad.
Might try and kill my joke, man. I'm just trying. That's why we changed it. We hate him. But I get it. You're arguing that.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a lot of arguments that as a historical figure, Joseph Stalin is very similar to someone like Winston Churchill, for example. Yeah.
Never surrender.
Yeah. And responsible for the deaths of lots and lots of innocent people.
Like Iron Maiden Power Slave album, like hooked me up with so much Churchill with that speech.
We shall fight them on the beaches.
What?
That's my Winston Churchill. We shall never surrender.
They play it On the opening of Power Slave, it's clear. Yeah. It's clear. I can hear it clear. Yeah.
I'm talking about his voice. It's like that weird, like, we shall never surrender. We will fight for the
He goes, and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills.
And in the glens.
That hooked me up with some Jeopardy questions. And there was a movie featuring Churchill in that speech recently with Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
I remember I was seeing the trailer at the theater, and I was like, we shall fight in the hills. I was like, we shall fight in the streets. Looking at my kid like, I know this shit.
Whoa.
Because of Iron Maiden. Thanks, Maiden.
No, yeah. There's places around Volgograd where if you're walking around, you can just reach down and pick up some human bones. They're literally all over the place.
Yeah, by the handful. You just run your hands through your garden, the soil, come up with bones. Yeah. It's awesome. You're going to love it.
Yeah, you can do that if you go to Volgograd.
There's a tour you can go on if you ever visit Volgograd, like as a tourist. You go down to this, you gotta Google it, but they'll take you to this place where you just freaking find human bones all day long. It's awesome, man. Teeth, freaking hips, freaking tibulas, freaking mandibles, freaking metatarsals, freaking... I can't think of any other bones right now. Rib.
The anvil and the hammer in your inner ear hole.
That you're freaking...
Did you say patella?
Patellis. Oh, yeah. Femurs, everything. You're going to love it. Pelvi.
Radius, ulna.
Mm-hmm.
Humerus.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Tibia, fibia. I
think I said one of those tibias. I think I said tibula.
I don't know what that is.
Tibula. That's it's like the female. It's the masculine and feminine. Like Spanish. Yeah.
Scapula.
Like a woman has a fibula, and a man has a fibia. Fibia.
That's
like cloaca and cocoa crispy.
Cocoa butter.
Something like that. Shape. Yeah.
Well, that's it for the Battle of Stalingrad, everybody.
What a wild ride.
Welcome back from 1943.
Oh, we have so much in store for our listeners for the future episodes. You don't even know. We're not going to say a word about it, but we have
That's
some
why
doozies.
you don't even know, because we didn't tell you.
Some doozies planned. We got some feedback from frickin' social media as well, some requests, so we're going to try to get to those soon, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, could you believe this audience tonight?
I can, because I'm almost like used to it. It almost doesn't really. It's like
they surprise me with their love and affection every time. I'm so glad to have them. They're all incredibly smart. That's for sure. They've made great decisions ever since I've known them to be listeners.
Right. Yeah.
This band,
killer.
This song fucking slaps, man. I'm never gonna get sick of it.
This freaking SoundCloud website that's hosting us currently is just so smooth.
It's cool, man.
Or if you're listening, there's something called Outcast that directs people to us.
Oh, nice. Welcome, Outcast listeners.
You can hear us on Outcast.
Also,
Stitcher.
welcome Atlanta hip hop duo Outcast listeners.
Right. I mean,
all types of Outcast listeners are welcome here.
And if you're a social outcast, welcome.
We are too.
Go listen to our Unabomber episode right now. If you're an outcast, you'll love it. How'd you like that friggin' Saturday Night Live ending on that one?
Oh, that was hilarious. That cracked me up.
There's a couple sketches with Ted Krasinski, Unabomber sketches. They always make him seem like zany, but if from our episode, he's very calm.
Pretty fucking serious guy.
Yeah. Doesn't joke much.
Well, go check it out.
Where can they find us?
Yeah, you could find us on Twitter at Dinner and Hell Pod. We are on SoundCloud. Evidently, we're on Outcast, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook. Find us on one of them shits.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Please don't forget to rate and subscribe on Stitcher or iTunes or Outcast or Pod Nugget or whatever fucking thing you get this on.
Pod Basis.
We love you. Thank you and have a good night. Now, have you ever smoked crack, Ross?
Oh, like, are you saying like
on purpose?
Not tricked.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a birthday, let me tell you. Thanks, Mom. Real funny, Mom. Killed the cat that day. I was so pissed. Yeah, it went awful. She thought it was going to be a funny gag. Could have got me a stripper or something, a little more normal.
Yeah.
Instead. That's my life.